The brown shirts brought their beers into the main room, where most of the people kept their eyes on the group, anxious to see what they'd do next. All the tables in the Augustina were taken. Someone would need to make way. The largest one spoke up. "Any Jews in here?" A hush fell over the room as people averted their eyes and focused on their drinks. Jacob looked at Ethan, whose face had further darkened. Jacob felt his anger bubbling over and heard himself say, "Right here." The men turned toward their table. One of them cocked his head. "How about you get up then?" The other men laughed, and they took a few steps in Jacob and Ethan's direction as the people around them held their breath. Ethan was the first to react. "We're okay here, but perhaps you want to knock another old man off his legs." He nodded towards the bar. The larger man scowled. "What did you say?" He stepped closer to Ethan, who stood up from his chair. Jacob did the same. "You heard me. Nobody wants you here. Everybody was having a grand time until you stank the place up." Ethan gestured across the room, where the stunned patrons were looking back at him. The largest of the brown shirts was taken aback for a few seconds, then quickly regained his posture and lunged at Ethan with surprising speed. Ethan sidestepped and easily dodged the blow. He landed a punch to the side of the man's head, and he went down like a sack of potatoes. This only enraged the others. The smallest of the three turned to Jacob, who managed to avert the man's first attack, but didn't expect the offhand blow that connected with his shoulder as he crouched down. "Yeah, bring it on. I can dodge your slow punches all night." The attacker was panting and snarling. "Hit back, you cake," he slurred. Then came the moment Jacob was waiting for. His opponent stumbled into one of the tables and lost his balance. Jacob's fist connected firmly with the man's face before a satisfying crack followed. The man grabbed his face while he crashed down on the table, glasses shattering around him as he slumped to the floor. Jacob turned to see Ethan holding his own against the two other men, waiting for the perfect time to strike. Suddenly, the tavern door burst open and more brown shirts piled into the Augustina, pushing their way through the thick crowd. Jacob counted at least 5. "Ethan!" he shouted, pointing at the door. "Time to go!" His friend gave him a quick nod. The two brown shirts still blocked Ethan's path out of the corner, so he took a step towards them and feinted an attack. Both men took the bait and swung wildly. Ethan ducked, and 2 quick stabs to the ribs doubled the men over. He kneed one in the face and the other in the groin, leaving them in pain, twisting on the floor. Ethan skipped over them and joined Jacob. "Okay, now what?" Jacob looked to the door and saw to his surprise that the new brown shirts hadn't gotten much closer. The people in the Augustina had blocked their path, forming a human wall. "Quickly, over here!" One of the barkeeps waved from the side of the bar. Jacob and Ethan hurried toward the man, deftly avoiding the overturned tables. The barkeeper lifted the bar and indicated the door behind it. Just as they passed, the elderly gentleman who had almost been toppled earlier placed a weak hand on Jacob's shoulder. "If only more people stood up to them, we wouldn't be in this mess," he said. Jacob smiled as he hurried through the door Ethan had left open behind the bar. The cold evening air hit his face as he stepped outside. Ethan was already halfway down the deserted alley, and Jacob rushed after him.